All right, so let me get started again. Hi, Marisha. Nice for you to join as well. So, most of you are currently building or planning to work on your chat services, but unlike the saying, "Build it and they would come," this is not the case when you build and launch your chat service. In today's session, we'll look at one of the ways that you can take your service to market, but there's multiple ways that you can do it. The focus today specifically is on using click to WhatsApp ads. But before we get into that, it's important to just take a step back and think about the broader strategy, which we call your go-to market, can also be referred to as your marketing strategy. So it's always important when you think about whatever tactic you're using. In today's session, we will click to WhatsApp. Think about your broader strategy. Who are your users? What are the channels they are using? How is your brand being represented in those channels? And putting that all together in a strategy. With that in mind, you can also consider your channel plan. So your channel plan consists of an omni-channel approach. Here we've put together just a simple image for you to show some of the channels, but I'll quickly run through these, and it will help you as you analyze the available channels for your users, the role that they play, and how that you can use those channels to reach the end users. So when we refer to owned channels, those are the ones that you have control over. That will be your website, your chat service, your Facebook page. And that is typically used for engaging with people who are your current customers or who know you, people who will come to you and engage with you on your own platforms. Then there's what we call paid, and this is typically used to engage with strangers, people who've never heard of your brand, and this is where click to WhatsApp falls under for one element. But this could be any paid search, it could be partnerships, it could be media deals. Your typical TV and Facebook ads will fall into this. And then there's earned. Earned is a combination of the two, but this is where you often have your SEO, how your rankings come up from your website, how people speak about you. If you have ambassadors that you're not paying, this is the kind of space that you'll engage. So when you look at your overall go-to-market strategy, it's important to consider all of these. But as I mentioned for today, we're just going to look at the paid version, the click to WhatsApp version as part of that. But it's always important to keep the bigger picture in mind and not just to focus on that one. So I'm going to play a quick video for you to give an example of how this all fits together.
Hi, I'm Leha, the founder of Leha Beauty. As a business owner, I take on many different roles and marketing is just one of them, so I'm always looking for ways to save time and work more efficiently. Facebook Ads Manager lets me run all of my ad campaigns from one page. It's really easy, so today I'm going to show you how to get started. In order to use Ads Manager, first you need to set up a Facebook business account and page. Now your account and page are set up, let's take a look at Ads Manager. Here are some of my ads. To start, click the green Create Ads button. Facebook will guide you through the flow so you won't get lost. I like to be organised, so I always have a plan in place before I create my ad, which helps me with the next step, choosing an ad objective. Think about what you want your ad to accomplish. Remember, give your campaign a specific name in Ads Manager so you can easily find it later. Next, select the destination of your ad or where it will send people. That could be your website or a new messenger conversation. Next, I decide on the audience. Leha Beauty products are natural and organic, so when I build my audience, I look for people who have interests like organic skincare and healthy living. When you build your audience, think about your customers. What do they like and where are they based? Now, decide where you want your ad to appear, on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. You can also use automatic placements to take out some of the guesswork. Decide how much you'd like to spend and when you'd like your ads to appear. On average, I run my ads for 7 to 10 days and test to see which channel works best. Last but not least, create your ad. This is the fun part and you can be creative. Here are a few things I keep in mind when I make my ads. Blurry images are a no-go. Use text on images sparingly to make it easy for people to read your ad. And try using different formats like video or collection ads. Don't forget to experiment with all the available options and see what works. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so obviously Leah is using it for a small business, but the principles stay the same. When we are looking now to use click to WhatsApp ads, I'm going to talk about the strategic decisions that you need to think about before you jump into the actual ads manager. So here you need to think about your goals. What do you want to do? Do you want to attract new users? Do you want to use it for customer support? Do you want to convert users? Do you want to delight existing very, very loyal users? It's important that you think about these different phases, what we call in the conversion funnel, because you're able to choose this as an objective when you are actually going to put your campaign together. So I know most of you will probably be in Attract, but there might be some of you that are thinking about, well, I actually have this really loyal database of users. How can I engage and use ads to engage with them? So first, before we get started into the objectives, what are click to WhatsApp ads? I know we've spoken to a few of you about that, but they are ads that are direct users to have conversations with brands on various messaging apps. Those messaging apps are Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. So once a user clicks on a message of the ad, the chat then opens in the messaging app of the brand, and this will be your chat service. Then you can use templated messages, or you can kickstart your conversational flow using Turn with that. So that is as simple as that. It's an ad that's based and placed on the Meta universe, and you can use any of those ad formats to drive users to your chat service. Where can you place your ads? As I mentioned, you can place it on Facebook, it can be on Instagram, or you can also have it as stories on both those channels. It's important to then choose what audience you want to target with your click to WhatsApp ads. So as you all might know, we often speak about your ICP, which is your ideal profile customer. Think about that user at the top of your kind of main strategy, but within using click to WhatsApp ads and the business ads manager, you'll have another option to consider it. And I'll speak through these now. So there are three audiences that you can choose when you set up your ad campaign. There's your core audience, and that's your typical demographics, interest, behaviors. So it could be a mom between the age of 25 and 30 that is currently preparing for her second child. So that is your default option when you set up your first ad campaign. But then you can also set up a custom audience. Now, a custom audience enables you to connect with people who have previously interacted with your service. I'll speak about how you can actually target these people specifically later. And then a lookalike audience is, as the name says, similar to either your customer or your core, but people that don't know you. So if you, for instance, your core audience is a mom who is currently pregnant with a second child living in South Africa, but you want to reach similar mothers that are in Kenya, this will be your lookalike audience. A tip that we can add here for you is that people usually encounter a brand multiple times on different places to engage with. So keep that in mind. This again is very focused in terms of using this particular channel, but a user will encounter with your brand on various online and offline environments. So then if we look at best practices for your ads creative, now some of these are quite self-explanatory, but it's really important to consider these. Think about retaining the attention. The Statistic Brain Research Institute finds that you have 3 seconds to capture somebody's attention. Now that is really quick. So you need to ensure that in that 3 seconds, make sure that your call to action is clear, make sure your brand logo and colors is very clear. So that 3 seconds is enough to capture them to actually click on that ad to move over to your chat service. Make sure that your ads are mobile friendly, short form, make sure that they are vertically ad creative so that the placements are optimal for mobile specific. Ensure that your ads are interactive. Make sure that they have a nice text overlay, but use text minimally if you can. interactivity is the main thing that you're looking for here to, again, drive that first step of a user clicking on it. Then a call to action is really good to include in your ad. Message us, maybe book an appointment today. I know that the team from Teco Africa is on this call as well, and they are in the process of refining that call to action, because some call to actions work, some don't. And this is a continuous refinement. There's no silver bullet here for you in terms of the call to action, but make sure that it has a clear call to action. Quick replies, make sure that you highlight your brand's personality, and again, to give the user a reason to move over to a chat conversation with you. And then lastly, when it comes to creative, make sure that you test, and test some more. Test your design. Compare static images versus short videos, versus heavy text versus minimal text. Test your call to actions, as I mentioned. You know, a good example is feeling stressed, get a quick tip now. Or another call to action could be need help, start a conversation, instant support. It's important that you also test your channels, especially your cost per message, because your one user might be cheaper to reach on Facebook than they are to reach on Instagram, but you need to look at the quality. So all of this is important to consider when you do your testing of your creative. So as we spoke earlier, there are various stages in your conversion and engagement with your end users. Facebook and through Ads Managers also made it quite easy for you to set up your campaign based on your objective. So I'm sure many of you have seen, we as marketers love using a conversion funnel, but throughout this funnel, you can see the different stages that you can engage with your users. So a click to me a WhatsApp message ad is like having a first date with a potential user. It should pique their interest, so they want to go on a second date with you. In this case, start a conversation with you. So the ad might highlight your value proposition, or could direct them to educational resources so they can build trust with you. Whichever the ad focus on, the goal is to give the potential user a reason for you to connect with your business. So that if awareness is your key objective, that is the kind of strategy you need to follow through in terms of how your ad should look like and how you want to measure that. Then a good example of that, for instance, Titania, one of our conversation designers, actually gave me a great example for that. For instance, if you are running a mental health service, your awareness stage is your objective. Your ad could be something like feeling stressed, try this 2-minute breathing exercise. And then when they click into WhatsApp, the first message they will see is, "Hi, would you like to try the simple stress relief tip?" So you can see how the ad message links and delivers clearly in the WhatsApp conversation. I think that is very important, that what you promise in your ad, you need to be able to deliver in your chat service. You only have that one try. It's very hard to get a new user back into your service if you did not deliver on that first promise. So if you say, make it simple and make sure that you deliver on that. Then if you look at the further down the conversion funnel, I love this. Like, I'm sure many of you have walked into a shop and browsed around, and then the sales clerk comes to you, say, "Can I help you?" And at that stage, she says, "No, thank you, I'm just looking." But then later on, you go back and you say, "Okay, actually, I want to actually try on that, dress." Now, online users do exactly the same. They come to your site, they look around, but they don't necessarily click on that ad. So you need to give them an option to actually engage with you. And this is where you also can use click to WhatsApp ads. So that drives more toward the middle of the conversion funnel. Then once they have converted and they've engaged with your brand specifically on WhatsApp, retention is your main goal there. And there you can help them and use WhatsApp ads to encourage them to solve their problems. You can direct them to your support. We often do that as well with our support. Promotions there is not really going to drive that specific goals. So it's mostly there you're going to use your ads to drive support and keep the retention of those existing users. And then lastly, it's often easy to think about unhappy users. I mentioned, you don't deliver on a promise, but it's also important to focus on your loyal users, those that sit right at the bottom, those who are your brand ambassadors. And there you can again use click to WhatsApp ads to give them a reason to continue to come back to you. So that might be a unique offer. And you can use then Ads Manager to target those, because those will be your specific audience that you've set up as your loyal users. So how do you start with your targeting, specifically using your Facebook Business Manager and your ads campaign? If awareness is your objective, so you want to reach as many people matching your ICP, your target audience is most likely going to be your core audience and lookalike audience. So just to recap, your core audience is you can create a targeted group with similar characteristics to your ideal customer. So that's your location, gender, interest, and behavior. And then a lookalike is then somebody that is matching your existing source. You can often also import lists into your ads manager, which is a really nifty tool. If you have an email database or existing customers, you can import that list. So then you create a lookalike audience that Facebook can target for you. The best option here, is to look at an audience of 1,000 to 5,000 customers. So this would be just some guidelines for you to look at. Then, if consideration is your goal, I would suggest retargeting options. So keep that mind of that shopping experience use case in mind. So somebody's seen your brand somewhere, you can now go, or maybe they've been on your website, or maybe they've been on your Facebook page, but they've not actually engaged with you on your chat service. Then you can use retargeting. This is really a great tool. I'm sure you've all experienced that. Once you've looked at an online store, you see the ads pop up everywhere. That's exactly what retargeting is. So you can use that for that specific goal if that is your goal. Then the conversion, this is when to help them make the final decision. This is actually where, you might offer like a enticing discount or feature or piece of information even. We can help them convert and actually become a customer. This is also where they typically will start chatting with your help desk, if you are using a help desk, or your automated service on turn. Then again, your care phase or those loyal customers, again, here you can use your retargeting features. So you know who they are. You want to maybe drive a special piece of information or a program for these users that have previously engaged with you. And this does not just mean on your chat service. This could be your existing Facebook users that's on your Facebook page. You can even retarget them with a specific offer. So again, if you want to drive to your WhatsApp ad or your WhatsApp service, this is a really nifty way of retargeting them and say, look, hi Lisa, we know that you've been engaging with us. Here's another option or offer or piece of content that we can share with you on this specifically. Am I going not too fast? We'll just get a thumbs up. All good. We will share this recording and also the content afterwards, so you can go through that during your own time. So the loyalty phase, as I mentioned, this is where you can upload your CSV files. You do need to have your data permissions, obviously, of these people's content, because once you upload it to the Meta universe, it's there. But the Ads Manager does give you a clear option and a template of how you should add the content in terms of the data. That is then users that you have the explicit opt-in that you can engage with them and that you can target them. But this is a great tool of just driving that continuous engagement using the Ads Manager. So how do we actually create these? It's Simple, but it's also complicated. Simple to start with, complicated or not complicated, but it's not a once-off job. It's something that I would urge you to have one champion within your organization. Just try it out and have ownership. That will really kind of fine tune as you go through the process. This is not just, as I said, a once-off program or campaign. You need to tweak it. You need to see how things are done and improve as you test your services. So the first thing that you will do, you need to open your ads manager. Where the heck is your ads manager? It's in your business manager. Now, most of you, when you're onboarded, would have been through the process of setting up your Facebook business manager. Here's some screenshots. We'll also share the links with you. If you don't have access in your Facebook business manager, you might need to request that from the person who owns that Facebook business manager account to add you as an ads manager. You don't have to have access to entire Facebook business manager, but the ads one is the one that you need to require to set up your first campaign. It's also important to know that you can add external parties to this. So if you decide to use an ad agency or a freelancer to run or manage your campaigns, this is where you'll add them under Ads Manager. So once you have access, you set your objective. So now you can see nicely how this match with the conversion funnel. You can actually choose, oh, okay, awareness is my objective, or traffic, or leads, or ads promotion is my objective. We'll suggest start with awareness. I think most of you are on that, still trying to get, let's call it strangers or people who don't know about your service to your service. Awareness will be your main objective here. But you can then choose different objectives as you move through the funnel. Once you have set your objective, you need to choose your location. So where do you want to drive them through? This is specifically, you need to check for click to WhatsApp ads. You need to say messaging apps. So where do you want to send them to? In this stage, it will be messaging apps. Then you need to choose your ad type. So this is where you say, I want to drive them to WhatsApp. So you can see how the step-by-step goes through. And this is the video that Leah spoke through the campaigns. It's pretty easy in the sense the Ads Manager does take you through the step-by-step guide. Then your budget. So here you choose your budget for, we say typically at least 7 days to see really if a campaign gets started. That is for the best results, and set it up for your first 7 days, and then you can add it as you want to. Your audience, this again is where you create your different audiences. We spoke about your core audience, your retargeting audience, but here you can define the audience you want to see your ad. So this is the standard option where you basically choose your demographics, your genders, your targeting. If you want to choose the retargeting options or the lookalike, you can create those separately in the create new audience, and it will take you through the steps of uploading your CSV or retargeting, and it will give you the prompts there of where you want to retarget them. Once you've done your audience, you need to select your ad format here. So here you can say, I want it as a video or an image, or I want to just add text. This is the fun part. Really can kind of play around, get your inner creative going, keeping in mind those core design principles. Don't make it too complicated. Don't give too much information here. You've got 3 seconds to really get their attention. But play around here, because here is the part where you will get to kind of test the various options. Then how do you know your campaign is working? You have all these inputs, but through the Ads Manager, you have a dashboard that gives you access to your indicators. So you can see how much you've spent on your campaign, the impressions. An impression is if one impression is somebody have seen your impression, or your ad. Just important, impressions is sometimes a little bit confusing, because if I see your ad twice, I'll be counted as 2 impressions. So it's sometimes a bit confusing, or that you think, oh, I've got 1 million impressions. That's fantastic, but there could be some unique users in that. Number of clicks, that's a core one, because clicks really, your click-through rate is what's really going to determine somebody's clicked on my ad. That means they've gone through to my WhatsApp service. Your cost per click again, as the bidding works within the ads manager, certain people will be more expensive to reach because there's somebody else trying to get their attention. I'm not going to get into the bidding model of how it works. It's quite complicated, but there's actually a price for every click, and you can decide how you want to manage that. And then with these insights, you're able to refine your budget, refine your targeting, and improve your campaigns over time. So it gives you kind of quite a nice overview of seeing what is working and what is not working. You can even do, my targeting needs to be more, my age, I need to maybe limit down to, from 25 to 45, maybe just bring it to 30. These are the things that you're going to be tweaking as you go through your campaign setup. Then after publishing the ads for your Click to WhatsApp campaign, you can look at the following metrics on Ads Manager. So how many messaging conversations you've started, new message connections, cost per new message connections, and then cost per message conversation started. So those are just some of the metrics that you can look at. A few tips that we have seen in the past as well, when you decide to when the ads manager asks you to put the destination of your WhatsApp service in place, you typically would add your WAMI link, so that's your click to WhatsApp link. Through Turn, you can create a generic one. Most of you that use Turn will be familiar with that. There is a little hack that you can do as well if you want to measure where users are coming from into your service. And how you would do this is, if I'm running a campaign and I'm using Facebook, Instagram, and say Messenger as options, I can use a WAMI link. And at the end where you're able to edit it, you can say WAMI link, let's say Claffia, Facebook, FB. And that is actually your link. And you use that link when you place your ads for Facebook. And you can choose the same link, but you call it WAMI, Claffia, Insta, and then you use that link when you use your ads for Instagram. Why does that matter, and what will it help? As the ads come into your chat service, you can also see which ones are coming from which channels. So that helps you understand from a chat service point of view, which channels are working the most to give you those quality click-throughs to your service. So you can do that on your chat service side and measure that. And then you also on your other side, you have your ads campaign and your metrics that you can look in terms of your overall spend and overall campaign, how the two works together. So with that said, getting your best results for your Click to WhatsApp ads require a mix of targeted strategy, compelling messages, and ongoing optimization. As I mentioned, it's easy to set up, but it does take time to keep it going and to tweak it. And you can get started with a few $100s. You do not have to spend thousands of dollars. Most of you, I know different accelerator participants are joining today, but most of you would have some sort of funding available and allocated towards Click to WhatsApp ads or to go to market. We really strongly recommend that you test this out. If you have any questions, we're happy to jump on a call with you and help you with those targeting. As I mentioned, I know the TechHer Africa team is already doing that. But yes, get started, get those users in. Remember, just because you have a beautiful, amazing, compelling, life-improving chat service, it doesn't mean that the right people know about it. So going to market and promoting your service is as important as building out an amazing service, because otherwise those end users will not know about the service that you can offer. So that is the end of my session. I do want to just highlight, and for those of you that not seen this, we do provide a go-to-market checklist, which basically just helps you get the basics set up. This is super helpful. You can print this out, you can stick it on your wall, you can share it with your team, but it takes you through the basic principles to set up a service, right from creating your QR code, your Wami link, as I mentioned, getting your WhatsApp ads ready, how to use reminders. That is also a massive one that is available to you today to use. We are working very closely with Meta to keep the conversational fees low, if not for free. That typically would cost you quite a bit of money. So we recommend that you use those reminders to re-engage those users that are already using your service. So with that, that is the end of my session. So we've got some time left for questions. But I hope that this was a very super practical guide for you to go through that. As I mentioned, we will share this presentation and the content with you, so you can share it with your team and get those ads up and running. Let's see if there's any questions. Yes, Arafat.
Yeah. So in the Excel that we upload, so does that what information should we give? Like mobile numbers, email IDs?
It's a great question. I don't know the exact details now, but when you go to your ads manager, you can get a template. It will show you what you're looking for.
Okay.
I think it's name and surname. I'm not sure about email. It might even be email address, but yes, I'll try and find a template for you. And I can just share it. But if you're in Ads Manager, you look for it, it can really go into that.
Got it. Got it. And if you upload that, then this ad will be visible to only those users which we mentioned in that list.
You can see only those users or people who look like those users. So that the lookalike one is really good as well, because that goes, I know that this, I'm going to use Sophie. I know Sophie is a customer of mine. She's engaged with my service, but I want more Sophies. So I'm going to upload her profile, and I'm going to say to the ads manager, go and find people with similar interest like her. And that is a great tool for finding people that you typically won't look for.
Okay, cool.
Could I just ask something, Lisa, as well? Firstly, thank you. It was super informative. I just had a very small doubt, which is that I think in one of the slides, there's a mention of the number of customers that you I think it's somewhere between 1,000 to 4,000. So I just wanted to know that what that number is for. Like, is that what you're aiming for in terms of conversion, or was that talking about the number of people who are already who've already liked your page?
Yeah.
So just wanted to clarify that.
That's exact. It's the second one. So if you have, obviously these are Meta guidelines, so they look at big brands. Don't get too hung up on that metric. Upload what you have. So if you have and you'll often will see, if you have, for instance, a Facebook page, Meta will know once you start playing around in Ad Manager that those are already users that are connected to you. So they'll start looking for similar organizations or similar users to that. And they say if you're going to upload a database, it helps to have 1,000 and up to 5,000 to start with.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good question. So I see Arafan asking a question here about influencers. Yes, there's definitely, I think that is another opportunity, especially with TikTok. So obviously the ads manager does not cover TikTok and any of those, but I think there's great opportunity to partner with influencers. TikTok, I'm not familiar on the ads manager, but I can guarantee you it's very similar. They all run very similar. If you run TikTok ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, or even X ads, they have a similar ads manager concept where you have an audience, an objective, an ad creative, and then you target it. So the same principle will be applied to that. So I'm just looking here. Okay, so just looking at some comments. So Manish, we observed that new users more likely to press opt-out button. Yes, that's right. So I think, Manish, to your point there, make sure your call to action is clear and deliver on that. There's nothing worse than, and we've all been in the seats of end users. When you go, I want to speak to someone, then you want to have an actual person there. Or you can say, speak to our chat service, and then the expectation is that I'm going to speak to an automated service. So I'm okay with that. But if there's a promise and that is not delivered on your chat service, I think that is a try and avoid that. Let's see what else here. Perfect. So just looking through some questions here. Okay. All right. So let me just see, Lasa. No. Okay. So we will share this information with you. Please share your findings. We would love to see how you're doing. Share it in your different cohorts. I know we've got different cohort members here, or if you're part of the town hall group, share it there. Let's learn from one another. Like I said, this is not an exact science. You need to tweak, and maybe you find some things that work really well for you in your region that other organizations can apply, or maybe for your impact sector. Again, let's share that as part of the Chat for Impact community, and we can all learn together. But this is the end of the session. Thank you so much, everyone, and happy ad placement. Bye.
Thank you, Leslie. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.